and then I saw a couple photos of her and that guy naked in a bed. Hi FULOVE family. Today's episode is going to be in English because it's the best way I know how to express myself. I'm going to share with you all the story of how I was cheated on by the love of my life. The person I wanted to marry. The person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. My first love. And I've never shared this story with anyone before, I think. So it's going to be a first. Now, if you're used to the happy and funny videos that are usually on my channel and you don't want to listen to this more serious one, feel free to just skip this episode. This story is more for those of you that maybe are still dealing with your heartbreak, or you just need to really let go, and hopefully my story can help you. Before I get into the whole cheating part, I think it's very important for context and to know the background story of who I am and what type of relationship it was. So growing up, I didn't have any friends at all. I had extreme trust issues and self-worthy issues. I think part of it had to do with being separated from my dad at a young age. I always felt like I wasn't good enough to be friends with anybody or why anybody would like me, although I really wanted to be liked. I also had trouble trusting people because I felt like in a deep part of me that if I trusted someone, they would leave me. They would hurt me, just like my dad at the time. Even though he didn't do it on purpose, it was for family, financial issues, but to a little child, it's all the same. Up until high school, I didn't have any friends at all, and there was no one I could really talk to. In high school, I learned how to make friends. I was on the basketball team, and many people knew me. I was even voted Mr. Hospitality, but didn't make a difference. There was not one person I could speak my truth to, the way I felt, open myself up to. One day, just as I was going out for the golf tryout, I noticed this beautiful girl. She was taking a practice swing, ready to tee off, and she was wearing long black sleeves. She was very skinny and tall, I still remember. As she took that swing, I thought, wow, I really like her. And somehow deep within me, I wanted her to be part of my life. I didn't understand her or know anything at the time, but I was like, I really want to get to know her. I got up the courage and I spoke to her. She was very shy as well. But thankfully, because we were both into golf, I could ask her to go play golf all the time. And eventually, we got really close together. I remember playing golf for 40 days straight in a row, going to the golf course, at least 3 hours on the course. And sometimes even more at the shipping range after a whole round of golf. It was the only way to really spend alone time with her because her parents were very strict as well. After getting to know each other for a couple months, we eventually got together. I asked her out, got the courage to, and she accepted. She was the first person in my life, other than my family, that I could really open up to. I felt like she got me. She really understood who I am. I didn't have to be fake in front of her. I didn't have to pretend to be someone so that she would like me. We really clicked. We'd spend almost every day together. She was my first love. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I remember thinking, there's nothing I really need to do in life. There's no huge ambition. I just want to get a steady job so I can have a family with her and we can live happily ever after. And I'm sure at the time she felt the same way too. We were both very innocent with our love. We became a very important part of each other's lives. Parents were still very traditional and strict, so it was difficult to really make any moves on her or to have alone time. I remember one time I had her over to my place just so we could hang out alone, not on the golf course and not in the public eye of everyone. Somehow her mom knew and freaked out. She came over, rang the doorbell and called and tried to hide, and we couldn't escape because I was upstairs but she was at the front door, and we would have to come down through the front door for us to escape my house. But anyway, we had got caught. Long story short, just going through all the struggles of being in a relationship, and everything just brought us closer. She was my #1 priority in life. Eventually, we graduated from high school and we had to go off to college. She went off to the University of the Pacific, which is in Stockton, also in California, about 6 hours away. And for me, I had a semester off because I got into the spring semester of Pepperdine, which is still in Southern California. So we had this 6-hour distance. It's long, but not that long, but also enough to make a huge difference. In the beginning, we tried really hard to stay just as connected, talked on the phone every single day, did everything that we felt could keep the spark alive, keep us feeling like we're close. We would study together, even have the phone on. We wouldn't even have to talk as long as we knew we were with each other. But for me, it was very, very hard because I had these trust issues, and I really needed a lot of proof that she still loved me the same way she did when she was right next to me. Because I could physically see her and physically feel her. I knew that she loved me. But when she was that far away, I became worried. And also because I had a semester off and she already started school, she was making new friends, seeing new people at a new campus, wanting to go explore and make more friends and more experiences. But I was still holding on to what we had. I would constantly ask her, where are you going? Who are you going with? Why are you going with them? Spend more time with me. Really just suffocating her. The more I try to hold on to her and try to keep on to that strong love we had before, the more I noticed she was getting further away from my life. She just didn't seem like the same anymore. I would constantly call her and she wouldn't pick up my phone calls. I'd message her and it would take many hours to respond, or the next day. We were still in a relationship. We didn't break up. We were each other's first boyfriend and girlfriend. Even when we told each other I love you, it didn't feel like the love was there, at least from her side. Something was off. And after struggling like that for about a year, in our 5th year mark, one day after we had a big fight, I was trying to contact her and she just ignored me. She really didn't respond to my messages, didn't pick up my calls. I believe it was Thanksgiving dinner. I went to eat with my family, had a couple drinks of wine because I was really not feeling well, and I was with family, so I wanted to let loose. So we all chatted until about 12 a.m., 1 a.m. We were talking about relationship and something just sparked in me. I was like, I need to go see my girlfriend. Now granted, we were 6 hours away. I would often make trips to just go see her. It's always me driving the 6 hours to Stockton. And I decided I'm going to Stockton. Terrible idea, but I was like, I'm going. And I started driving really, really fast. By the time I got to Stockton, it was about 6, 7 a.m. It was already morning. I had not slept all night. Called her, no pickup. I went to ring her doorbell. She saw me, she freaked out. She's like, why are you here? Why? Like, go away, why are you here? And I just couldn't believe the person I loved with all my heart wanted to give up everything for her. She would tell me to go away like that. It really hurt deep down. I didn't understand how this could happen. I was willing to do anything for her. I was willing to give anything to her. She treated me like this. I just couldn't understand. I forced my way in. And she was frustrated. She told me to wait in the living room and she disappeared off somewhere. I didn't know where she went, but I just could not sit still. I'm like, why is this happening? I drove 6 hours, 7 hours. Shouldn't she be at least a little bit happy to see me? I couldn't understand. I saw her computer at the side and I couldn't control myself. I just started to look through it. I was like, something is off. Something is wrong. So as I looked through her computer, I found folders of photos and stuff. Some of them was with us, some of them her with other friends. And then I found a folder. In this folder, it was her and another guy, this Korean guy. And the photos seemed like a couple, eating food together, selfies together. And then I saw a couple photos of her and that guy, naked in a bed. Couldn't believe it. When she came back, she saw me on her computer, she freaked out, she told me to go away. And that's pretty much how we broke off. How could she do this to me? What about all the promises we made together? I love you forever. We want to marry each other. You're the only one I love. Why did this happen to me? Where did things go wrong? What did I do? How could she do this to me? A million questions ran through my mind. My world was torn apart, and so I left. It was so hard to stay awake because I was so tired. But I was just so fed up with everything, I didn't care. I was like, I just want to go home. I tried opening the window so that the wind could blow me really hard while I was driving. I tried slapping myself, and it got more difficult as I drove on. 2-3 hours into the drive, there's only 2 lanes, and they all look the same. So boring and drowsy. And I noticed, like, for a couple seconds I would doze off and keep driving. I remember for like that split half a second, I would be completely out of it. I wouldn't know what was going on, but I just kept driving. And then one time, I felt like I dozed off for like at least a second and a half or 2 seconds. And at that speed, that is a very long time. And then as soon as I opened my eyes, I was like, oh shit! I was driving off the road, and as soon like I turned my car back onto the road, I could have died. Had I slept for half a second, little more, I would have hit the side and flipped because I was going over 100 miles per hour. I didn't really care about my life anymore at that point. But I knew I still had my mom, my dad, and my brother, and if I just died that way, they'd be sad. And I didn't want them to be sad because of me. I already felt so sad. I pulled over, I found a gas station, and I went to sleep. It really wasn't for me. I really didn't care about life anymore. It just shut down. Just wanted to sleep and forget about everything. That was always my escape. Whenever I was sad, whenever people would pick at me at school, whenever I felt like there was problems, sleep was always my answer to everything. I could forget everything, forget all the emotion, and when I wake up, it's like nothing ever happened. But this time, when I woke up, the truth was still there. Love of my life had cheated on me. I thought I would never love again. I thought I could never trust again. I didn't want to see anybody. Didn't want to talk to anybody about it. There's no one I could trust. I didn't want to talk to my family about it because I didn't want them to be worried about me. No one could understand. That pain is indescribable. I didn't even think anybody could love someone else as much as I loved her. The kind of love that only you understand when you truly fall in love. You feel like no one else knows that love because it is special to just you and that person. Don't worry, the story gets better. One day, I had a friend, an acquaintance. He had broken off with his girlfriend and came to talk to me for advice. Because although I never opened myself up to anyone, a lot of people would open themselves up to me because I would never judge. I know how it feels to be hurt, how it feels to be lonely, how it feels to be not liked. So I was always open to helping people. By helping others, I felt like somehow I was worth something. That's why they could be my friends. I was always a listener. And that's the only way I knew how to bring value. He told me he had just broken up with his girlfriend. His girlfriend cheated. I don't know why, same thing. And I just started giving him advice. I was like, she's not worth it. Just gotta move on. Basically, just giving him a lot of advice that I should have given to myself. He invited me over to his other friend's place. They were about to have a gathering. I decided, why the heck not? I never really been invited anywhere. So I went over. We basically just played video games and war games all day. I really enjoyed it. I didn't fully trust them yet, but they were pretty much my first friends. It felt so much better than being alone at my house, hating the world, just playing video games. It was really bonding, and we pretty much spent every single day of the summer together. Somewhere deep inside of me, I wanted to trust one more time. I just wanted to trust people in general. I didn't want to put all my faith onto one person, like my ex-girlfriend. I just wanted to trust people. I thought to myself, it's worth it more to me to trust them and be hurt by them, to at least have that experience while it lasted, than to never have it at all and just be lonely completely the rest of my life. I knew what it was like to be alone, and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I decided to trust this group of friends. And thank God they didn't hurt me. I loved them to death. So I have to really thank those bros of mine. They really got me out of that depression. They really allowed me to trust people, trust in relationships again, allowed myself to really love again. After that first relationship, I really didn't think that I could ever fall in love again. I started dating around a lot and never really thinking that I would open my heart up again. But you never know. Eventually, I met my second, third, fourth exes and learned that, hey, my heart can be open again. I can love again. Life really does go on. If I had a happily ever after with my first ex, there's no way I'd be where I am today. If she didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't have met Jamie. If she didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't have all the friends I have today. If she didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't have the courage to open myself up to make other friends, because all I would want to do is find support in her and find all my happiness in her. If she didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't have learned to love myself and to be happy with just myself and not rely my happiness on somebody else. If she didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't know how badly it hurts to get cheated on and to never want to do that to somebody else. If she didn't cheat on me, I really wouldn't be making these videos and connecting with all of you, and I wouldn't be on this journey. to really experience more in life. So I thank her. I forgive her, and I love her. And I truly mean that. When I speak about her, there's no hate, there's no regret. It's love. If that didn't happen, all the wonderful things in my life right now wouldn't exist. And so if you ask me, how did I go from this heartbreak to where I am today? It's really an entire process. I can't say it was one thing. If I had to pinpoint one thing, I would say to be courageous. Courageous enough to let go. Courageous enough to face that it's over. Courageous enough to really forgive. Courageous enough to put yourself out there again. Courageous enough to make new relationships happen. Courageous enough to love yourself and trust that you are good enough. And to just be yourself. Because when you're happy with who you are, and you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be loved. So just be who you are, and when you're comfortable with that and can find happiness with just yourself, that is when you're ready to find your other half. And that is when you're most attractive too. Because you no longer rely your happiness on somebody else. So if you're still dealing with your heartbreak, just know that life moves on. Yes, that person may have hurt you. They may have done something terribly wrong. But you holding on to all that hate and that regret, even if it's hate towards yourself, regret towards yourself, it's not worth it. It doesn't do anybody any good. Life goes on. It's so good to just be alive. It's not worth it to hang on to all of that. When you can fully let go of that, that's when you can start a fresh new relationship. Don't bring any of that previous baggage into your current one or into your future one. It's not fair for your future lovers. Learn from those lessons. I see them as gifts. When she cheated on me, she really taught me there's nothing I can do to control the other person. So just let them be free. If they truly love you, they will love you. People ask me, how do you deal with trust issues? How do you deal with not being jealous? Or like, what if she cheats? Or what if he cheats? Don't you get worried? I've tried holding on. I've tried calling my ex-girlfriend 24 hours a day. I've tried making sure who she's hanging out with, knowing exactly what's going on, making friends with her friends so that they could spy on her for me. I tried everything and it didn't work. It didn't stop her from cheating. So I know if someone's gonna cheat, there's nothing you can do about it. So I might as well give them the space, give them the respect. And if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna do it anyway. So just love them for who they are, who they wanna be. And that way we enjoy our time together. There's no pressure. Oftentimes, when you give your other half that much space and you trust in them so much, they respect that trust and they're less likely to break that trust. So fast forward to today, I am in a very happy relationship with my current girlfriend, Jamie. It didn't take very long for me to get into this current relationship because I knew exactly what I wanted in my other half, and Jamie fit those criteria. I mean, nobody is perfect, but she has the qualities that I'm looking for in my other half. I don't know how this will play out. All I know is I love Jamie. I'm gonna enjoy all the time we have together. I'm gonna give her everything, all my love. I'm gonna trust in her, and I'm gonna do my best to make this a wonderful relationship. So we'll see how that goes. Just know that you will find someone that you deserve. But you have to love yourself first. You have to forgive yourself. You have to be happy just by yourself. You cannot find your happiness in someone else. The other person just complements your life. Because when you're happy by yourself, you'll just naturally make other people happy. If your happiness is dependent on the other person, you'll tend to put a lot of stress on them. And it's just not fair for them. So take care of yourself first before you try and find your other half. And you will. So best of luck. I love you all. And I hope you enjoy the story. Love you, FULOVE family. Take care. Bye. Oh yeah. 每天尝试不一样的东西，每天勇敢的做自己。Love you all. Bye.